When Izuku opened his eyes, he was met with a workshop. Looking around, he heard a voice, Mei's voice. "Hey Izuku, can you pass me that wrench?" Passing her the wrench, Izuku just stayed quiet, not sure if this is a dream or not. "Hey Izuku, what time are you leaving for your talk with your mentor?" "At 5. Why?" "Well, I need your help testing a new baby of mine." "Oh, which one?" "It's the battle armor, the one we've been working on for the past week," she said, not unlike one explaining to a confused child. "All right, I have time. So what are we working on today?" We're gonna test if it can handle great internal stress," Mei stated as she walked out of the personal workshop UA gave their third years. "How do we do that?" Izuku asked as he followed her outside. "Simple," she pressed a series of numbers on a keypad that opened up an armory in the center of the field. "We're gonna have you use your maximum of 65% just to see if it can handle your power." "Okay, so what happens if it can't?" "Then it's back to the drawing board." As she rushed past him, he blinked and the workshop turned into the void. "Well, Izuku, we have a problem." Turning to his left, Izuku was met with the fourth user of One for All, Hikage Shinomori. "What's that?" "Whatever this thing is stopped trying to push us out, and so have we." "Why is that a problem?" "It's simple, really much like One for All. The thing appears to be attached to your soul." "That's news." "Really, it's kinda obvious and all, with the way there's literally remnants of previous user's soul." His deadpan face made Izuku feel kinda dumb, as was implied by Toshinori when he passed on the quirk. Turning to Izuku, he spoke again. "Anyway, how's my quirk been treating you?" "It's great, all things considered. I've gotten used to the stabbing sensation a long time ago." At the fourth's nod, Izuku went to ask him a question. "Hey, why can't I use One for All at 100%? Is my body just not strong enough?" Hikage Shinomori opened his mouth, and right as words came out, Izuku felt a pain he was all too familiar with, joint pain shooting up from the bed. He felt his whole right hand seize up, and then his wrist started to ache. Damn, it must be a snowstorm coming. Izuku got up and began to make his way outside for his morning routine. He massaged his wrist and his hand, hoping the pain would dissipate before he started his workout. After his workout, he took a bath, then he went to the kitchen to help Ram and Rem prepare for breakfast. "Good morning, Ram." "Rem, what are we making this morning?" "Oh, Izuku, well, I figure something light, so we're having oatmeal." "Okay, well, I'll get started on the cleaning." Before he could leave, Ram stopped him. "Well, due to the attack yesterday, Roswell gave us the day off so we could recuperate." "Nice, how are you two gonna spend your day off?" "Well, we were just gonna relax mostly." "Okay, do you guys have a library? Because now that I can read, I would like to learn more about the kingdom I'm staying in." "Yeah, it's just down the hall. Make a right, then a left, and it's the fourth door on the left." "Thanks, Ram, well, see ya." Izuku dashed off, not able to hear Ram ask if he wanted to eat breakfast. As Izuku followed the directions Ram gave him, but as he was about to open the door, he felt a strange pull towards the door next to it. Decide that curiosity does, in fact, kill the cat. He opened the door, and looking inside, he saw the same little girl he saw on his first night here. Walking forward, he looked around and noticed how this place had a lot of shelves with books on in them. He walked up to the short blonde with hair that spiraled downwards towards the floor. It reminded him of Nejire's hair in her hero costume, only point down instead of up. "Hey, do you have any history books I could read?" "I have many history books, but why do you want to read them, I suppose?" "Well, I would like to know the history of the country I'm in." "Then why not go to Roswell's library?" "Wait, this isn't the library. This is the Forbidden Library, I suppose." "Oh. I'm so sorry, I'll just take my leave now." Izuku felt really awkward. If this really is a forbidden library, then she probably thought he wanted some book on events that the normal history books didn't cover. Bowing down, he started to make his way out only for her to stop him. It's that book on the third shelf towards the right. Oh, okay, thank you. He grabbed the book and sat down on the floor so he could read, and that's what happened for most of the day, him silently reading with him pretending not to notice the girl's sidelong glances. Then he felt his stomach grumble. Standing up, he put the book back neatly where he got it and said his goodbyes. All right, thank you for letting me read the book on. Noting his plight, she responded. My name is Beatrice and your name is? Izuku Midoriya. He held his hand out and she shook it. Well, I'll be back after I finish dinner and whatever anyone might need help with, so see ya later. As Izuku left, he missed what she said. That is, if you can find this place again, which I highly doubt. When Izuku stepped out, he noticed it was dark. Wow, it's nighttime already. He went to the kitchen to make himself something to eat. Once there, he saw Rem and Ram silently working on dinner. Hey, Rem, what y'all cooking? Izuku, where have you been all day? Went to get you for lunch. You weren't in the library. Oh, I was in the Forbidden Library reading up on some history. Wait, you were in the Forbidden Library and Beatrice let you read a book? Ram looked shocked as she turned to Rem. They had a silent conversation. Well, anyway, we've just finished dinner, so go ahead and grab bowl for yourself. It's just us as everybody else already ate. Rem gestured to the already prepared bowls of soup. They ate in silence, but not an uncomfortable one. As it was time to clean up, Izuku was tasked with putting away the dishes that had already dried. While putting away a cup, Izuku's hand cramped up, and he dropped the cup. Rem looked over and saw how Izuku was clutching his hand and the cup shattered against the floor. Izuku, are you okay? Where did you hurt yourself? I'm fine, just my hand cramping up. Oh, why does that happen? You're not at that age where your joints would be weak. Well, you see. He showed her his full arm. Rem gasped at the many scars. What happened? Izuku pointed to the scars on his finger. This I got at a school event when I first got my power. Rem is confused. Oh, right, I explained this to your sister but not you. Izuku took a deep breath, then he gave her the same explanation he gave Ram. Oh, I see, but how did you do that to your arm? Well, you know how if you break a bone and don't set it properly or put a cast on it in time, they could heal wrong. At Rem's nod, he continued. I kept breaking the bones even after they were little more than dust. That's stupid. Why would you do that to yourself? The newcomer turned out to be Ram. Oh, Ram, well, you see, it was because my mentor asked me to win a competition. Did you win? Izuku kept his head down. You're an idiot. Hey, but I did manage to help my classmate and best friend. At Ram and Rem's deadpan stare, Izuku felt the urge to continue with his story. Pointing to the rest of his arm, he began. And the rest came from when I went to my training camp. Oh, what happened? Rem is concerned. Does most of your story end in you getting hurt in some way? This is actually the last one, I think. Ram and Rem shared a look. They began to understand what kind of fighter Izuku was. He was the type to go all out even at the cost of himself. In other words, not something you would want to fight unless you could out-brute force or outlast him. Well, this one is actually a lot more selfless than me wanting to win a competition. Taking a deep breath, he started again. While we were at the camp, some bad people attacked us intending to kidnap one of my friends. I was on top of a cliff with a little kid, and some guy who was just as if not stronger than me at the time, wanted to kill the kid and me. Rem is curious as to why he wanted to kill you and the kid. He just wanted to do it for fun, no other reason besides it was fun. The group he was with let him do as he pleased so long as they captured their target. So what happened next? Well, Rem, he rushed me and I just barely reacted in time. Then I tried to punch him with everything I had, breaking my arm in the process. Did you get him? Now both Ram and Rem were interested in the story. Ha, I wish. His laugh through of both Ram and Rem, with the former showing no visible reaction beyond a raised eyebrow. You know what that man did when I punched him so hard it broke my whole arm. What? Rem can't keep up with the anticipation. He said I was fun and wanted to fight me even more, so he then got even stronger and started to crush me. Izuku looked down, his hair hid his eyes. He almost got me too. In fact, that would be the end of my story. Then what saved you? Ram looked concerned, which was a first from the usually stoic Oni. The kid I was trying to protect had splashed him with water, and seeing this kid who didn't even have a chance stand up to a threat that even I couldn't fight really pushed me, so I used 1,000,000% of my power and launched him into the side of the cliff we were standing on. However, using that much power destroyed my arm to the point where not even the best doctors could fix it completely. The girls were moved by the story, as the emotion in his expression and voice just moved them, while Rem and Ram were frowning. Does it hurt? Oh, only sometimes, and when it's cold or a storm is coming. Yawning, Izuku excused himself and went to bed. Good night, you two, see ya in the morning. Night. Rem and Ren both responded. After staying in his room for an hour just to make sure everybody was asleep, he snuck out once in the open field he comes to call his training camp. He did his usual routine, working on Black Whip and Float. Once Izuku was done, he decided to have a little fun. Ram was confused. Instead of heading back by now, he crouched down. Suddenly his green spark turned into a roaring green-bluish wave. As he getting stronger, Ram thought after a minute of him being frozen he teleported. No, it wasn't teleportation, he was just moving so fast not even she could keep up. Then a green blur ran past her, and she fell. When Ram got back up, she saw how Izuku was destroying the tree trunks he left behind. It was beautiful, as the tree trunks weren't going out in splinters, they seemed to just disintegrate. After a few minutes of this, Izuku seemed to trip on a tree root, but it was no problem as he just flew around. Then she had to run to keep up and follow him. After a while he seems to land at some sort of field that was littered with boulders. She watched them get decimated one by one. They were no match for him. After he cleared the whole field, he seemed to stop, his figure hunched over and his breath labored. He then faced the sky and laughed, and it was the most carefree laugh she had heard. It was as if he didn't have a care in the world, as if his scars and battles didn't weigh on his mind. God, it feels so good to just let loose. At that moment Ram understood Izuku was just a man who felt as if he had the world on his shoulders. Smiling, she turned and began walking back towards the mansion, only for her foot to snap a twig. When Ram turned back, he noticed his deeming change. Gone was the carefree attitude, now replaced with something that scared her. His body was hunched and his left eye was staring at her. His power made them look as if they were green emeralds blazing with the same kind of stoicism that hardened soldiers had when on the field. Then he vanished, only to reappear in her face, fist cocked back. He was about to finish her until he saw who had managed to get past his danger sense. Oh, it's your Ram. What are you doing out here? How long have you been watching? Since the first night. Oh. Izuku was embarrassed and relieved. He was on alert when he heard the snap, as few things could get past his danger sense, so forgive him if his first response was to almost maim the intruder. Is that how strong you truly are? Yes and no. What do you mean? Well, I can go stronger, but my body can't handle it and I end up breaking bones. Ram stayed quiet. When a wind blew past, Ram shivered. Hey, we should go inside and head to bed. As they began to walk, Izuku had a great idea. "Izuku, what are you doing?" She hadn't had the time to continue as Izuku had picked her up and ran as fast as he could to show her the rush and exhilaration he felt every time used his full speed. When they got to the mansion, Ram was frazzled while Izuku was laughing at her hair. "Not a word. Okay, I just thought it would be faster than walking." She walked away without saying a word. "Good night, Ram." "No good night." Izuku laughed harder, and as he laughed he missed the small smile Ram had. They both went to bed content with how the night played out. "Man, I wonder what's next to a trip to the capital." As Izuku wondered, he didn't know just how right his words were.